Good morning, everybody. I am Kinkade, the Executive Director of the Jasper County Chamber of Commerce, and we are happy to be with you this morning. We took a break for the month of July, but we are back, and we have a special guest with us today. That's unusual. Usually see 3 of us, and today we got a 4. And we're really glad that the Superintendent of Jasper Unit 1 Schools, Joe Sornberger, is here with us today. School's officially back in session, and myself and Josh and Jason and you as well, Joe, we all have students at different schools here in the unit, and Josh has a daughter that's teaching in the unit. What grade is she teaching, Josh?
Second grade.
Second grade, and so Miss Herman is teaching second grade here, first year teaching in the unit, so that's really exciting. But we're happy to have Joe with us today. Do you care if we call you Joe? What do you
That
want
is
to
fine.
call?
Joe's perfectly fine.
It's what I call you when I see you, but for the sake of this interview, we're also going to call you Joe. And we're going to talk with him for a few minutes, or let him talk to us about our community's greatest resource and how the beginning of the school year is going. So, Joe, what do you got?
Well, the wheels on the bus have started to go round and round. So we've started our school year. Pretty exciting start to the school year. We've had several projects that we've been working on in the summer. You know, as I've gotten here and we've started working with our projects, trying to get things ready, you know, we've put in an elevator, which helps with accessibility at New Community High School. We've put in roofs, which are not the neatest thing in the world, but necessary. So HVAC project, which is something that we worked on the last couple of years, and we still have some roofs that we're still finishing up right now, but all those things come together to allow us to enhance the educational learning environments and get our kids back into the building. This summer was probably one of the busiest summers that we've had in a long time, trying to get things ready and prepared. And you know, we redid 3 classrooms at the high school, and we redid the chorus room and the band room. So just trying to get those spaces up to date so our kids have a place to go and be. So just excited to have our kids back, get them in this week, really school starts to kick off. So we've been back for a while, but all our sports take off. We had media night the other night, which was great to see everyone out there. So right now our soccer team was going to play today, golf's at Alney, you know, tennis starts, football Friday night. So we got tons of things going on. It's just great to have our kids in school and get everything going. So yeah, it's exciting times, and I'm looking forward to a great year.
Good. I will ask this. I didn't tell you I was going to ask this, but you know, we hear a lot about teacher shortages.
Yeah.
What's happening in Jasper Unit 1 with those, with substitutes? How are we doing? How many new teachers do we have?
So, you know, one of the things that we've been looking at is, you know, we're all in a teacher shortage. It's just not Jasper County, but what we have found is the more teachers that we can get that are from Jasper County or live in Jasper County, they stay. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have some that are here now that have taken jobs and gone elsewhere. Totally understand that. People have to make decisions for the best interest of their families. And I understand that, and I appreciate those conversations on what we can do better. But what we're finding out is if we can get someone that lives in Jasper County, either they're born here or they come here and decide to live, those teachers stay. It's the ones that we have outside of Jasper County that commute in. It's just easier for them to go. And right now, we're working hard to keep the teachers we have. We've restructured a contract to do that this summer. We're looking to do that for the next coming year. So yeah, it's kind of a dog eat dog world right now in teaching and trying to keep people in spots. And years ago, when I was hired as a position, my first position, I got hired, I was the social studies teacher, I was the basketball coach, I was the junior high history club sponsor. Now, we're just lucky in some cases to get people to come in and just be a teacher, not even looking at the extracurricular stuff or portions. So yeah, we're going to continue to work on that. So our new teachers this year will be in our magazine that we put out to the community on a quarterly basis, so everyone will get a chance to see who our new teachers are and trying to get to know them more. But yeah, it's tough, really is. That's a good question.
And I think that many people have seen the east of the Newton Elementary School, right? Is that right? We're at east,
That's
clear
right.
now. You've made some purchases. What's gonna happen there?
So the east part of the Newton Elementary building is where we're looking to put on an addition. That addition at this time is kind of up to, we're still in the design phases in some portion of it, but we're looking at about a 19,000 square feet building addition. This building addition will ultimately move the kids from St. Marie to town. The thing we have to understand about St. Marie, and I know this has been a topic of conversation in the community for years about closing St. Marie. For me, it comes down to a couple things, and one is our most precious and young kiddos are on the bus further longer than any other group. They're bused into Newton Elementary, they get out, they shuttle over to St. Marie. While that's going on, they're also missing educational time. So one of the things that we're hoping to do is by bringing those kids in town, they have a shorter bus ride. They get to class earlier and get going. And I think for me, you know, we have a resource officer now that's out at St. Marie and is doing some great things, and I appreciate the county allowing us to do that. But I think moving everybody into town, we have both forces. You know, you got the City of Newton Police, you've got the Jasper County Sheriff's Department. I mean, I'll admit today we had a false alarm fire, a kiddo pulled fire alarm. But our Wade Township Fire Department was there instantly. And our kids did an awesome job filing out of the building and getting to where they need to go. So I just think that's the biggest thing for us, is to try to get us a new addition and not spend a ton of money in St. Marie. It's a building from 1966. But with that, you're looking at a 19,000 square foot addition. You're looking at 2 pre-K classrooms, 6 kindergarten classrooms, some other office space for secretaries. We have resource teachers that need office space. We have speech at the elementary. Currently, we have people piled in rooms, and we actually have people on the stage. So it would be good to do that and get those people into a place where it would benefit more kids spaces wise. So the big question that I've been asked is how is this going to be financed? Right. And with that being said, when I came here, one of the biggest things that I asked the board is, where do you want to go? How do you want to get there? And how can we fund it? And obviously, we've looked in the past and seen that bond referendums have not been successful. That is not one of the things we're doing right now. We're looking to use O&M reserves from our CPPRT money that's come in, the 1% sales tax, which was passed in Jasper County for building projects. And then we're basically looking at the energy transition grant, which is something that I know the county gets, city gets. So we're going to use those 3 streamlines of funding to fund this. And it's like I've said before, it's just like your house. If the school district can't afford to do the addition, we're not going to do it. But we feel like at this time we have it scaled down enough to get it to where we need to go. I think one of the biggest things about this project is we're going to put in a new cafeteria. And the reason why we're putting in a new cafeteria that's going to be different than the multi-purpose setup is we need gyms. Jasper County School needs gyms, and the elementary building needs another gym. So we're going to build a cafeteria set up, and then the multi-purpose room at the elementary will become a gym for itself. So we'll have 2 gyms there. And I know this has been talked about, like I said earlier, but I feel like we're as close now as we have ever been. We had board meeting this last month, and the board put out to bid. So we're going to go bid, see what happens. Hopefully we'll get an idea of what that's going to cost come about November.
So if I have a kindergartner that's gonna start school in 26, where are they gonna start school?
So our goal was to have the project started in the fall of this year. The architects and construction management team told me that my timeline was a little aggressive, actually a lot aggressive. So, you know, listen to the experts. So we're looking to start the project spring of 26. And then it takes about 10 to 12 months. So you're looking at spring of 27, weather permitting. Our goal would be to have it finished in that time frame, and then have it in place, ready to go for the start of the 27-28 school year. So.
I mean, Jason, you are dealing with the same things with the courthouse project. I
Yeah.
think everybody, that's the question, when is it gonna happen? Things don't move as quickly perhaps when you're talking these kinds of projects as if you were gonna build a house, build something on your own, is that correct?
That's correct. And then if you have any changes to the floor plan, that delays the process and, the court, I mean, Joe and I were talking about this recently, our project, both at the county and the school, are probably gonna run about the same time. You're gonna see quite a bit of construction here in Newton going on about the same time.
Which is great, I mean, that brings more people into town doing work, maybe they're gonna eat, maybe they're gonna get gas. And we like out of town tax dollars and hopefully maybe some locals will do some of, or be working with some of those crews, so.
Well, and another thing I think is important that we all take advantage of is grants, right? So what I've said to people, and I think I've said this to him, and we've done a grant, the Safety City projects for.
Safe route to school.
Yes, Safe Route to Schools grant. We either take advantage of these grants, or we just let someone else in another community take our money and do it. So obviously, yeah, we're paying taxes that in return go into these grants, but the difference is if we utilize the grants, then we're actually getting something to come back. No matter what it is, it's coming back to Jasper County, and we continue to look at grants and those options to help us fund things that may not be able to be funded. And I know we as a school district use the ESSER grant funds to help pay for our HVAC project. And that was a $4.75 million project, and the ESSER grant portion paid for more than half. So if we didn't have those grants or utilize those grants in that way, we still wouldn't have HVAC in our buildings in Newton. So, with doing that last year, we were able to have the first graduation at Newton Community High School with an air conditioning system. So I appreciate what these guys do by going out and getting the grants and working together so we can build some things in Jasper County that are pretty much needed.
Josh, do you have anything that you think, that Joe needs to highlight or talk about how that you work with how the city and the school district work together? And also, I've asked this of you before, but I think that there are gonna have to be some changes around the school, getting kids, bringing that much new traffic, more traffic, bringing more kiddos into the school on a daily basis. So I think that we have a while, but hopefully we're working on a plan and we have some ideas.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and obviously Joe and myself and the city council have met a couple of times now regarding the potential add-on at the elementary school. So that our tie-in right now is essentially one thing, and that we didn't know that we had a problem, unfortunately, until we had a fire directly north of the school in a residential area, and we had some issues with some water pressure, which then in turn understood us that we were going to have a shortfall from a water supply to this new addition as well. So you'll see, I would say, yet it happens. It has to happen yet this year for us from a fiscal year standpoint to get the bills paid. But we are going to change out the water main virtually from the corner of Reynolds and Van Buren down to Absher, which will feed potentially, obviously, the new addition of the school, and then that residential area all the way down to Absher Street. So eliminating any water pressure shortfalls that we do have. From a traffic standpoint, that's probably been something that's been discussed well before my time, well before Joe's time, probably well before Jason's time. Unfortunately, when you have a school smack dab in the middle of town, it's tough, especially with the residential area all the way around you. The school's done a great job of purchasing property that they can at a value that's favorable, obviously, for the school district. From a city standpoint, though, we have to look at a plethora of different avenues to eliminate the problems that we do have. And the number one problem that we have is not so much in the morning, it's in the afternoon, evening during school pickup. Unfortunately, that line starts to form pretty early. Sometimes shortly after lunchtime, school isn't out for another 3 hours, but we already have people waiting in line.
Which is unnecessary, folks.
It is. Yeah,
It is.
I can promise you one thing, whether you're the first person in line or the last person in line, you're still gonna be there the same amount of time. And your child is gonna get out of school at the same time every day. So that's just the way of it. Right now, we don't have an answer. I know that we've looked at, or we are looking into, excuse me, potentially the old railroad tracks. The unfortunate part there is that it comes to a safety situation of a one way in, one way out scenario that doesn't really get us kind of where we want to be. There's been some ideas that have been brought up to Joe, and the school board potentially of the east side of their property, depending on how this new addition lays out and what would be needed from the city. So don't have a proper response, but I can say that obviously we are looking into that. But at the same time, traffic is traffic, right? It only can go so fast, and I'll commend not only the school district employees, especially at the elementary school. They do a phenomenal job at the crosswalk, at the kid pickup, and then of course with getting the buses in and out. Also, a huge shout out to our new police department. We have one officer every morning that is there at the crosswalk, and then come evening time, we always, or excuse me, when school's letting out, we always have an officer at the railroad tracks to allow those buses to be able to move faster across there. And then we also have one bringing traffic out of Maxwell Street back onto Van Buren in both directions. So that it takes obviously everyone from that standpoint. But at the same time, that one thing that can make a person smile is whether it's in the morning or in the evening, just people, normal people that are out driving around that will stop and allow those buses entrance and exits out is so appreciative that you don't understand how important that is. That actually helps and probably makes that school bus driver's day a hell of a lot easier. So thank you for that as well.
And I guess kind of going a little different, Jason, I know that you are going to, maybe now is a great time for you to mention an update with property taxes, because that does be kind of into the unit, getting a lot of money out of those property taxes, and as well they should.
Right, so property taxes, the first installment is come and gone. That was August 15th. The second installment will be due September the 15th. Of the taxes that we collect for the taxing entities in Jasper County, 75% of those taxes have already been paid. So most people take advantage and pay all that lump sum all at once. I know there were some questions floated out there about, changing the dates of due dates for taxes. I'll be honest, the county is just one of the many taxing entities. The county I don't have the authority, the county board doesn't have the authority to change those dates. Those dates are determined based on the tax cycle. So as that stuff comes, through the assessment office, goes to the state, comes back, that kind of dictates when those dates are. And they have to be in a window of time frame for all of us to function within our fiscal years. So they couldn't really be much later in the year. And given how quickly the tax cycle works, you might gain a month at most. I know at one point we did have due dates in July, but just a heads up for everyone that the August, September dates are probably here to stay, at least for the time being. So.
And you've shared a graphic before, and maybe you can again right now. That shows the breakdown of where our tax dollars go for a county resident and a city resident. I think that's beneficial to keep putting out there for us to see. You did some work and made a great graphic that hopefully that you can share again if you'd be willing.
Yeah, and I mean, keep in mind, there's about 50 separate taxing entities that levy taxes in Jasper County. And so as that tax money comes in, it doesn't stay all here in the county. The treasurer's office splits that out. Believe it or not, the tax entities make it clear that if they don't get their checks, they'll be calling us. So we get that dispersed as quickly as possible out to those taxing entities.
Have you already called?
I don't know. I just assume it's gonna come at some point. We're, just like we've talked, we're all trying to be as fiscally responsible as we possible with our taxpayers' money and do things in a way that, we update what we have to do building wise, but we're not putting in something that's way beyond our capacity of.
So we're not getting a pool.
So no, well, we are having.
We do.
Yeah, so
That's true.
the aquatic center, I mean, if we started a swimming program, it would be the pool or the umbrella if it's high enough to get some lanes in, but
That is a great job.
that's a great idea. So, but we just, it's one of those things, I trust what's coming and we prepare as if it's gonna be there and we do the things we need to do, so we're prepared to start the school physically.
I think that Joe had spoke before, especially on grants, and I know that all three of us, the three J's sitting here, that we survive off of grants. We do survive off of tax dollars. I mean, I understand that that's just part of the world, but the biggest misconception is that at most times, especially from a city standpoint, when we post that we've been awarded a grant or that we are going after this grant, you'll see comments come in that that's not free money. We understand that, but we're still all paying taxes. The whole state of Illinois is paying taxes. We're paying taxes to the federal government. And Joe is right. If we as a local community, if we don't go after those grants, there's a whole list of people for counties and communities and towns that are as well. So we might as well do the same thing because it's not going to stop. And if it does, it's not in the near future of how taxes will change or how taxes are paid or how tax dollars are used. But those are put into forms of grants and it's our job as your elected officials and appointed representatives of the school, obviously to go after that money and soften the burden of, like Joe talked about, is having to change in the referendum or, do some type of bond issue when it's time for any type of upgrade with the school. As well as what the county's doing or from a city standpoint. And I'll go back. So last year, the city, along with the school district, was awarded $25,000 for the Safe Route to Schools. It wasn't the grant that we really wanted to replace sidewalks, but we were able to give almost 200 bicycles away with helmets and everything to these students. And it was probably one of the greatest events that I've ever been a part of to a lot of people that didn't never have a bicycle or may not have a chance at a bicycle. But fast forward to today, we are back in for the Safe Route to Schools grant again this year. The city council just approved last week to move forward with that. There'll be a public hearing coming up here next Tuesday, actually, the 2nd, previous to the city council meeting for anybody that wants to discuss that. It's the same route, virtually would start at Reynolds Street, go down Van Buren, working through to get as many of that miles of sidewalks around the school as we can replaced, safe, handicap accessible and whatnot. So you'll see that as well, hopefully.
And will there may be some ways that community members could do some.
Yeah, as always, from any grant, we do ask for letters of support. Jason always is very good to us as a city, that he, from a county chair position, also Mr. Sornberger as the superintendent always does a heck of a job with us too, is getting us letters of recommendation. But any community member, especially if you live around the school, or if you have children that walk, we'll make a post on Facebook and start to ask in the next couple of weeks some of those letters of support, so we can attach those to that grant.
Well, I think people need to understand too, when we do these grants, there are certain things that these people want to hear when we do the grants. And they can hear from us, right? But people that actually live on that street and walk on that sidewalk, they want to hear from them, because sometimes they know what we're gonna say. Obviously, we want the sidewalks.
Absolutely.
But, community members that have concerns with those things and want to be a part of it, 100% need to write and do some things to send into that grant, because the more stuff we have, the better it works. And that goes with anything we do. We just did a community partnership grant 2 years ago. That's how we got the greenhouse at the high school. We partnered with a community partnership grant. We were able to do the greenhouse. We worked with the 4-H on their portable restrooms out there, which has been awesome for them. They can move them wherever they go during fair time. We worked with the ballpark to try to get in some new diamond for the softball team and the mound and home plate for the baseball. So again, I know people sometimes think of these grants and think, oh, whatever, but we have to have them and we have to use them. And in what I've seen since we've been here, the ability to use grants, it's only benefited our community by us going out and doing the work and putting in the time to try to bring some things to the city. And I'll be honest, if we don't have that grant, I don't know if we have a greenhouse. So that's why we do the things. And if you haven't been to the greenhouse and seen what it does, they had a plant sale last spring. It was awesome.
It's amazing.
So
it is amazing.
It is. So those are the things that I think we got to keep doing and keep working with these grants and use them to the fullest of their abilities. And by doing so, we just benefit everybody.
Jason, do you have any county updates for us?
I have a few things. So
Okay.
since our last meeting, we last did this in June. At that time, we were looking for an animal control warden. Since that time, we have hired one. Alicia Weiss is our new animal control warden, and she's out there working. She's doing a great job. Again, thank Austin Ferguson for his many years of service to the county. He did a tremendous job. We touched a little bit on school-related things, but another thing that I'm thankful that the school partnered with us on is moving the Wade precinct polling places back to the unit office. Used to be the Sunrise Center. And so, you know, in just a short amount of about 5 years, we went from the polling place was at St. Thomas for many years. There was some issues, some safety concerns with the kids out there and people backing out while they were voting. So at that time, the county moved it down to the Sunrise Center. And then when the school purchased that, there was some initial plans to possibly have classrooms there. And so we preemptively went ahead and moved out of there and went down to the New Beginnings Church. And we've been down there a number of years. Thank them for allowing us to use that facility for a number of years. But we decided it's a little bit more convenient to use the unit office location. So starting in the March primary, and all the Wade precinct voters will get notification about this, but the Wade polling place will be moved back to the unit office at 1401 Clayton Avenue. So again, you'll be getting a notice in the mail about that. In addition to that, it's budget time for the county. Our fiscal year runs December 1st through November 30th. We just had a county audit last month. We'll be starting our budget talks and that process coming up in the next month. And one exciting thing is that we finally have a county flag that we'll be unveiling soon. We're going to work with the chamber to possibly do an unveiling on the courthouse lawn some morning. Barb Eaton was the individual who designed the bulk of what the flag looks like. The flag was altered a little bit by the Flag Commission. They changed the colors on it, but it does have 11 stars, which represent the 11 townships of Jasper County. It's got a river that runs through, representing the Amberall River, fields. The color of the flag was changed from Barb's original design. It is orange and blue to reflect the colors of our school. And she initially had a star in the center, and the Flag Commission changed that to an eagle just to symbolize the county. I think it turned out amazingly well. Both Judy McClure, Sign Graphics, and Borgix are doing flags for us, so we're going to get flags from both of them. You'll start seeing them pop around at some of the county locations, and we will eventually have them for purchase if any citizens would like to purchase them.
They look really good. They turn out great. Josh, what about the city of Newton? Got any pickleball court updates for us?
Yeah, so
Tell the people what they want to hear about pickleball.
there you go. So at last month's city council meeting, we did approve a bid from JB Esters on that. Now, with that being said, is that bid did come in high, so we did a change order and eliminated some of the extras, some of an added parking lot and a few other things to get that down. The council then came back and approved that change order. So virtually we're a go. Don't understand quite a time frame yet, but I think that you'll see some stuff happen yet this fall. But unfortunately, what people don't want to hear is that that's probably the summer of 26, spring to summer of 26 before we could be up and going with that. You know, we had a great summer at the Newton Aquatic Center. Unfortunately, as school gets back in session, that kind of puts the tail end of us for the swimming season. So this weekend, Labor Day weekend, will be kind of the tail end of the Newton Aquatic Center, and we'll start to see that shut down. We'll get that drained and get ready for winter. If you haven't seen the Chamber's Facebook page and then also the city's, big thank you to Gail Blumack, our two park employees, Mike Shackman and Sean Enier, and then also our summer help. But mainly Gail, she did a heck of a job on the landscaping there as you come into Peterson Park, took it upon herself. As always, she does a very excellent job. The Safe Route Schools grant, we're also applying for an OSLOD grant for some updating of our playground equipment at the park. Fortunately, that equipment's been there for 20 some years now. It's hard to believe that, but it's starting to get some age on it. A few of the pieces are starting to tear just a tad. So we're hopeful that we can get a hold of that grant and get some of that stuff replaced. So you'll see some of that come in from this next city council meeting that we have. Obviously, there's another public hearing along with the Safe Route to Schools regarding this park one as well. Outside of that, you know,
Are we still accepting applications for a new city police officer.
Yes, we are. We most absolutely are. So you'll see a big advertisement. We're doing a big marketing campaign right now for an open position for a city police officer. You'll hear us on the radio, not only locally, but in the surrounding areas. Facebook, our city website, any other type of social media that we can be on. I know that Sarah, we want to thank her for her help of helping with some flyers and other things. We've done some targeted marketing with that as well, but absolutely. And we're very progressive in looking for someone. We have a sign-on bonus and some other perks that were back things for some years of service. So hopefully to get that filled as well. I want to thank Tammy Michael too. I know that both of you are usually Jason and Sarah are part of that, but the first responders appreciation that happened a couple weekends ago. Tammy does an excellent job with that, and really do appreciate all of our local first responders, whether that's through EMA, whether that's through our county police, our city police, our volunteer firemen, and our ambulance services. But want to give them a big thank you.
They had to respond way too many times this summer.
They did. Unfortunately, it was a busy summer, from a lack of better terms that we don't like to hear of. But lastly, from a city standpoint, South Dollar General. I know it's been a big question in everybody's mind of what's gonna happen, what goes on. Unfortunately, that was June the 9th when that fire happened, and we've seen no movement there. So about a week ago, I did send an email to Corporate Dollar General, giving them 15 days to get something done. They responded back with, they had their action team. They were supposed to actually be in town today, but unfortunately, they did put a stop on that. So I'm looking back for response, but I can say that they're actually, hopefully this week, you will see some movement there. Their ideas or their plan is to remove the front of the building and to go in there with equipment, remove all the contents, put that in dumpsters and quickly get that out of there. I will apologize. There will be a smell. You will have an uptake, unfortunately, in some insects for a short amount of time as they get that done. But as quick as they can get that cleaned up and get that out of there, they can hopefully start the process of rebuilding. And just so everyone knows, they will be rebuilding, whether that is a complete new building or they will just remodel the current structure. That is up to people well above us, engineers, insurance and whatnot. Once they get the contents out, they'll do obviously a long look through of that building structurally to see if it is, sound enough to withstand another store or they need to rebuild. So, but I do apologize for the lack of effort that has came from the Corporation of Dollar General on the cleanup of that site. But it's just like with anything, when you deal with larger companies, it's really hard to get a straight answer. So we're hopeful that we're close to getting that cleaned up.
I want to take a couple minutes to talk about the Fall Festival. That's coming up in just a couple weeks, the annual Fall Festival. It is Saturday, September 13th. We already have, I think, 15 marching bands that are going to be in the parade. That's a lot of marching bands. That includes our local 3 bands, St. Thomas, the junior high, and the Newton Marching Eagles. But on top of that, we have a bunch of bands, small bands coming. Steve Hardwick has worked so hard on building this parade up and reaching out to get other area bands to come. And we just have such a great time. Our community is so good at cheering for them as they march down the street. So I hope that they will do that again this year. Grace Methodist Church is going to have their pancake breakfast starting that morning at, I think, 7 o'clock. It's a great way to start the Fall Festival day. And then the parade's at 10. We have things going on all day and lots of free activities for kids. We're going to have an animal show. We're going to have a petting zoo. We have free face painting. The Tourism Council has graciously paid for the face painting once again. And these are like really big deal face painters. The Jasper County Antique Tractor Club does their pedal tractor pull, and lots of good food, craft vendors on the Jasper County courthouse lawn. And then we're gonna finish that night with Southern Comfort local band with some Beerman girls, some Zumbalans, and there are a local favorite. I think they're playing at the St. Marie Picnic. Is that right? This weekend,
Yeah.
Jason? And so they're gonna, at 6 o'clock, they're gonna be playing up on the square. So we hope people will plan to come to that. It's an exciting, this is my favorite time of the year. Eagle football is back. sports are happening, it's cooling down, it's in fall festival time. And so, like Joe said, soccer team kicked off their season today at 4:30 against the Tolono Rockets.
Oh, you know your Rockets.
Volleyball starts this Thursday. Golf's playing, it's just a great time of year, cross country. And if you have a chance, you haven't been to a cross country meet, go out to San Par. It's probably the best sport there is, cross country, as far as team sports. You'll see something good if you go and watch a cross country meet. But that's all that I have. Josh, do you have anything good you want to tell us about?
I'll give one more shout out to Jim and Tina Messina. This last weekend was their second annual barbecue competition, and what they have created in 2 short years is beyond amazing. I didn't get a final count of teams,
27, I think.
but that is tremendous in a second year event that they have put together. Not only the barbecue competition, the car show, the bands, things that's going on out there. So kudos to them and an excellent job of putting together such a great event. I look forward to seeing that continue to grow over the years.
And everything they're doing at the Legion.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, they
The
tell you.
Legion back to life and really working hard to get people in the door, having some
Yes.
fun events, and their Queen of Hearts is $56,000.
So, yeah.
So it keeps growing, and all that money really goes to a good cause, so to stop by and buy a ticket. Jason, do you have anything good? You want to tell us about?
You touched on
St.
it, touched on it
Marie
briefly, yeah, St. Marie, pre-Labor Day picnic will be this Sunday. St. Marie style chicken being served, so come out for that. And then the other thing I'll mention is the 3rd weekend in September is the annual Knights of Columbus Tootsie Roll Drive, and the Tootsie Roll Drive benefits people with intellectual disabilities. 100% of those proceeds stay local. So our local Knights of Columbus, we split that between Jasper Unit 1 School District and St. Thomas. And so any donations to that Tootsie Roll Drive, they stay here in our community.
That's always previous to a football game, correct?
Yeah, we always do it Friday night before a football game, and then if you attend the masses at St. Thomas or St. Mary's, you can get Tootsie Rolls there as well.
I don't know what it is about them, but I always say they're the best Tootsie Rolls. Joe, have you ever had St. Marie style chicken?
No, I have not.
You did taste that. It's really good. It is good.
All right.
It's good chicken. Do you have anything positive that you want to highlight?
I guess the one thing I will say is this, in our community, this summer and into the fall, we've had a rough go with some of our kiddos and our community members and things like that. But I want to thank everyone for the support of those families and those kids. I know that one family that we had, several thousands of dollars was raised to help that family, and a lot of people that made those donations probably don't know who those kids are, but the community came out and they donated to help out people in need. And that's one of the things that I have noticed since being in Jasper County. When there is someone in need, no matter who it is or whether you know them, the community comes out and supports in a way that is really unbelievable. So for me, for someone that's just moved here and been here, I want to thank the community for doing all the things they do to support our kids and families, and, in a time of need. So I think for me, that's a big positive. Obviously, some of the things we wish didn't happen, but the response from the community to help those families in need was unbelievable. So thank you very much for all that you guys do out there for the school and the support we get for our families.
All right, that was very, very well said. Does anybody, if you guys don't have anything else, that's it, okay? All right, we hope you all have a great day. Go Eagles, and we'll see you around town.